Hello, dear English learners. I am Mr. Sal, and I am very happy to present our today's lesson. Our today's lesson is on the reported speech. We introduced the lesson last time, and today we are going to give more details about reported speech. If we are quoting someone else's words inside a quotation, we use a second set of quotation marks. If we have used single quotation marks on the outside, we use double ones on the inside and vice versa. The inside quotation has its own punctuation, distinct from the rest of the sentence. For example, when I say, "Aunt said, just as I was leaving, a voice shouted, 'Stop.' What do you mean? Are you all right?" And ask. Number two, we can also use a second set of quotation marks when we mention the title of. For example, a book or a film. Example, how long did it take you to read War and Peace? So, War and Peace is in the quotation. And another very important remark here is we don't normally use a quotation marks with verbs like think and wonder, so that little game he thought. So that was the little game he thought. Why hadn't she written? He wondered. Why hasn't she written? He wondered. The lesson, and today we are going to see more details about direct and indirect speech. First of all, what we need to know is the importance of the reporting verbs. The importance of the reporting verbs. There are three very often. Those are the most common used reporting verbs. The first one is say, and then you have tell and ask. We must always use a personal indirect object after tell. Example, tell somebody, tell someone. For example, he told me he was tired. Not he told to me. Just he told me. There is no to. John told his mother he was going out. We can use to me, etc. after we say if. But we can't say he told me. You haven't got much time. Example, you haven't got much time. He said, he said to me, or he said simply, or he told me, not he said, not he said me. We can't say here he said me, but we say he said, or he said to me. We can use me, after ask, after ask and if. Example, if we want you, ask if we want to. We want to, if and we want to. Example, are you comfortable? He asked me, are you? We are going to talk about indirect statement with tense changes. Indirect statements with tense changes. So we tend to use past in indirect speech because we are reporting past events. So we use the past tense of reporting event. He said that. He told me that. How we report is a matter of common sense, and we can mix tenses if we want to. We can say, example, Fatu says she's read Tony's book and didn't understand it. Okay, here we can say then when she read it. Okay, so first, what commonly happens, okay, is that present attracts present and past attracts past. So we would say a rule is present becomes past and past becomes
So
past
apart
perfect. So
from
this is a
the
general rule.
moment the introducing verb is in the present, which doesn't change, okay, the tense. Okay, so whenever the tense is introduced by a verb in the past, for example, said, told, asked, okay, the present becomes a simple past. For example, I work hard, he said. He said that he worked hard. Present continuous, okay, becomes a past continuous. Example, I am working hard, he said. He said that he was working hard. Past simple becomes past perfect. Example, I worked hard. He said that he had worked hard. So past continuous becomes past perfect continuous. For example, I was working hard, he said. He said that he had been working hard. Present perfect becomes past perfect. Example, I have worked hard, he said. He said that he had been working hard. Present perfect becomes past perfect. Example, I have worked hard. He said that he had been working hard. And present perfect continuous becomes past perfect continuous. Example, I have been working hard. He said that he had been working hard. And future visual becomes conditional for a second conditional would. Example, I will work hard. He said that he would work hard. So to make it short, will become would. Example, I will always love Tom. Okay, he said that. She said that she would always love Tom. Can becomes could. Tom said, I can carry 50 kilogram. Tom said that he could carry 50 kilogram. May becomes might. Ben said it may rain. Okay, Ben said that it might rain. And master becomes hard too. Example, everybody must obey the rule. He said that everybody had to obey the rule. And have to becomes had to. She said, example, she said, I have to go home. She said that she had to go home.
Going to talk about pronoun and adverb changes in indirect speech. Okay, pronoun change, okay, depending on the view of the reporter. Okay, the change of the pronoun depend on the person who speaks. Example, I'll send you a card, he said. I'll send you a card. Okay, so here someone said, I'll send you a card. So when you report, for example, if you take the example of Fatu, okay, who is speaking here, you can say, Fatu told me that she would send me a card. Okay, here I has become she. Okay, so reported by someone else. These words are reported by someone else. Okay, so if I say, for example, Fatu told me she would send me a card. Fatu told me she would send me a card. So this is reported by a person that Fatu was talking to. So the change depends on, okay, the reporter, on the person who speaks. Okay, so depending now on the person who speaks, there are changes, but also we have changes on time, okay, and place. Changes on time and place of the adverb, Okay, depending here on the context, depending on the context. For example, when we have now, here the change is immediately or then. Now becomes immediately or then. Today becomes that day, that day. Tonight becomes that night. Tonight becomes that night. Okay, yesterday becomes the day before, the day before. Okay, days ago becomes days before, days before. Last week becomes the week before, the week before. Next year becomes the following year, next year, the following year. Tomorrow becomes the next day or the following day, the following day. When we have here, okay, the change is there. Here becomes there. And also this becomes that. This becomes that. Ago very often becomes previously or before. Ago becomes previously or before. Okay, so let's now come to fixed expression. We say, tell, and ask. There are many common expressions we say, tell, and ask. For example, we say a few words, say so, say no more, say nothing, say your prayers. So these are expressions that we use, we say. And with tell, there are expressions that we can use. For example, tell a lie, tell a story, okay, tell you so, tell the time, or tell the truth. So these are expressions that we can use with tell. And finally, with ask also, there are expressions, fixed expressions that we can use simply with ask. Example, ask after someone, ask after someone, ask for a favor, ask for a favor, ask a question, or ask the price, ask the price. So these are fixed phrases that we can use with tell, ask, and say. Now to indirect questions with tense changes. So indirect yes and no questions, okay, also are very important to know. We don't use quotation marks or question marks in indirect question. Example, he asked me if or whether I was ready. He asked me if or whether I was ready. So here there is no quotation or quotation mark. Tense changes. Okay, we talked about it last time. Okay, for example, if I have "Are you ready?" Are you ready? So he asked me if or whether I was ready. He asked me if, okay, or whether I was ready. So here, are you becomes I was. So you don't inverse. Okay, so if we are reporting a question that has just been asked, if we are reporting a question that has just been asked, we can say, are you ready? Okay, or why didn't John ask you? He asked me if or whether I am ready. So this is in case you are reporting a question that has just been asked. Okay, the question has just been asked. The inversion in the direct question changes a statement, changes to statement words order. The inversion in the direct question, okay, changes to statement questions. Example, are you ready? He asked me if or whether I was ready. So here, okay, we can also have a reported tag question, which can change also to statement word order. Okay, you ready? Aren't you? You're ready? Aren't you? He asked me if or whether I was ready. So we use if or whether. We use if or whether after ask, want to know, or wonder, or know, want to know, okay, or didn't say, or didn't tell. So in these situations, okay, we can use if or whether. I repeat, we can use if or whether after ask, after want to know, after wonder, after, okay, not know. Okay, example, I didn't know, or simply didn't say or didn't tell. So it is in these situations that we use, okay, if or whether. All right. So now we come to the last part of this lesson. This is the last part of the lesson on the reported speech. So today we just want to draw your attention on things that are very important to know about reported speech. First, when you have a question, we usually make question by changing the word orders. We usually make questions by changing the word order. Okay, we put the first auxiliary verb, okay, before the subject. Right. Example, will Tom be there tomorrow? Will Tom be there tomorrow? This is a question. So when you report this, okay, you need just to reverse. Okay, he asked if, okay, he asked if. Okay, this is a yes or no question. When you answer, you can say yes or no. So here, if is necessary. So simply, you can say, he asked if Tom, okay, will be there tomorrow. In the question, we have will Tom, but when you report, you say, okay, Tom will be. So subject plus verb. Or another example, have you been working hard? Have you been working hard? He asked. Okay, so here when you report, you simply say, he asked me if I had been working hard. If I had been working hard. In the question you have you? But when you answer, I say, if I had been working. So the reverse, okay, is important. Another example, when I say, what can I do? What can I do? He asked. So when you report here, you simply say, he asked me what he could do. What he could do. So what can I becomes a he could. So when you ask a question, normally first you have the auxiliary or the modal, okay, followed by a subject and a verb, and then but when you report, you just have subject plus auxiliary or modal or verb. Okay, so these are important things to know. Now can you report this sentence? When was the house built? When was the house built? Yes. Okay, very good. So here you can say simply, he asked me when the house had been built. When the house had been built. Another thing important to bear in mind is that, okay, you can make a request for advice with question words. You can make a request, okay, for advice with questions word. Okay, example, he wanted to know how. He wanted to know how. Okay, so when you have a direct request for advice, example, how shall I repair it? How shall I repair it? Or how should I repair it? Okay, here, when you report the question with question word, when you report here with question word, you simply say he wanted to know how he should repair it. He wanted to know how he should repair it. I repeat, how shall I repeat it becomes he wanted to know how he should repeat it, repair it. Another important remark is report it, okay, with question words plus infinitive. Okay, we can use to infinitive after all question words. You can use to infinitive after all question words. Okay, how with how to or when to, how to or when to, except why, except why. uh, so here simply we can say he wanted to know, okay, why he should wait. What is the question? Okay, he wanted to know why he should wait. What is the question? Okay, so here we don't say we wanted to know why to wait. Okay, why to wait? No, we cannot say it. We say he wanted to know why he should wait. Okay, in the question, and the question is, should I wait? Why should I wait? Why shall I wait? All right. Another word, another thing, okay, which is very important to know also is with to infinitive in indirect speech is when we report the imperative. When we report the imperative, we report the imperative with suitable, okay, verb plus infinitive. We report the infinitive with suitable verb plus to infinitive. Okay, the reporting verb matches the reporting verb matches the function of the imperative with asking, telling, or advising. Okay, okay. Example: remember to post the letter. Okay, remember he to post the letter. Remember to post the letter. So this becomes he reminded me, he reminded me to post the letter. So here we have two infinitive with imperative. So when we report a negative imperative, we put not or never before. We put not or never before the two infinitive. Example: don't wait, he said. Don't wait. He asked me not to wait. Okay, the sentence becomes he asked me not to wait. Not to not or to don't, but not to wait. Okay, never do that again. Example: never do that again. So he said, this becomes he told us never to do that again. He told us never to do that again. Okay, so, in a nutshell, or to make it short, okay, the inversion after a question word in a direct question changes to statement word order in reported speech, in reported question, and if, okay, and if necessary, the tense is changed at the same time. The tense is changed at the same time. Why haven't you finished? He asked me why I hadn't finished. Okay, why haven't you finished? He asked me why I hadn't finished. Want to know that indirect questions with tense changes. Indirect question with tense changes. Indirect yes no questions. Okay, we don't use, okay, quotation mark or question marks in indirect questions. Example, he asked me if, or you can say he asked me whether I was ready. He asked me if or whether I was ready. Here the question is, okay, in the direct speech, are you ready? Are you ready? He asked me if, or he asked me whether I was ready. So another important, okay, thing to know is that tense changes, okay, when you report, okay, a question, okay, as you see in the example above, are you ready becomes he asked me whether or if I was ready. So if we are reporting a question that has just been asked, we can say, are you ready? Or what did, he ask you? He asked me if I am ready. So here, when you report a direct question, when you report, something that has just been asked, you don't need to change the tense. So the inversion in the direct question changes to statement order, as we said. All right. Also, when we have offers, suggestions, or requests for advice, here we use very often shall. We use very often shall. Okay, now direct offer or suggestion example. Direct offer or suggestion example. Shall I phone her? Shall I phone her? Or should I phone her? Should I phone her? So here, when we report this with if or whether, we simply say he wanted to know if or whether he should phone her. If or whether he should phone her. So here, he wanted to know whether to phone her can be said also. He wanted to know whether to phone her. Last but not least, it is very important to know that it is not always necessary to change the verb when you use reported speech if you report something that is still true. If you report something that is still true, so you don't need to change, the verb. Example, he said, New York is more lively than London. New York is more lively than London. So here, if you report, you simply say, he said that New York is more lively than London. So this is something that is true. So you don't need to change the tense. Another example, I want to go to Dakar, today. I want to go to Dakar. Here you can simply say, he said he wants to go to Dakar. He wants to go to Dakar because it is still, he still wants to go and he hasn't gone yet. He still wants to go and he hasn't gone yet. Note that it is also correct to change the verb into the past. So both are possible. If I say, uh, in the sentence New York, is more lively than London, it is also possible to say he said that New York was more lively than London. So it is possible also to say that. It is also possible to say, he said that he wanted to go to Dakar. So these are things that are true. But you must use a past form, where there is a difference between what was said and what is really true. I repeat, you must use a past form, when there is a difference between what was said and what is really true. Okay, so that's all for this lesson on the reported speech. As you know, it's very important to know this because it is in our daily life and we live it every day. We need to report what other people say or what other people want us to say or what other people want to know from something or from people. So please don't forget to subscribe if you are new to the channel. Give thumbs up if you like the video and also don't forget to share it. See you in the next lesson, inshallah, if God will.